Hi, and welcome to my channel. For those of you new, these videos will be a mixture of tracking my journey and development towards financial freedom, about basic personal financial products, and also about improving people's financial well-being. My name's Dave and I work in financial services, and it amazes me the number of people I speak to on a day-to-day through my employment who do not understand the basics of personal finance because we don't teach the subject in schools, or in the UK we think the subject matter is taboo to talk about. Remember, if you like the videos in this channel, press the like button, subscribe to this channel so it can grow and reach a wider audience. Now let's get on to this week's video. So this week's video is a review of my Stocks and Shares ISA for the month of June. So we'll give people insights into the shares I hold, the funds I hold, the reason I hold them, and the aims moving forward to my investment journey. Now, it's not to aim or brag, it's to give people an insight into my journey moving forwards. The reason I hold my investments in the Stocks and Shares ISA is they will grow tax-free. So all gains are tax-free and all dividends will be dividend tax-free. Not an issue at the moment, but it will be in the next few months or next few years when the portfolio grows and we do break that threshold. For those new to the channel, the aims are as follows. We plan for an investment growth or return of 10% each year. This year for 2021, our plan is for annual dividends of £500 and a year-end value of £50,000. Now, a quick look on our portfolio. For the first 6 months, every month we've made a profit month on month, year to date. Okay, so if we look at the end of May, our portfolios were £48,413. It's now worth £49,015, a monthly profit of £602. Quite surprised with that figure. It's the first time ever we've not made any contributions for the month. And we've also received no dividends during the month, so a very nice return. Now, we are aiming for a 10% return. The market is somewhat bullish. It's a very good run lately. At the end of May, the year-to-date return was 13.4%, and the end of June, our return so far for the year is 14.58%, so well above our expectations of 10%. Now, for the year to date, we've made dividends of £195 towards our target of £500, but we will, during next month, receive some dividends from two of our companies worth about £85. Now, we have been charged fees from our provider, monthly fees of £10.09, something we're quite happy with because of the service they give us. They give us excellent choice for our shareholdings. They give us excellent choice of our fund holdings. So quite happy with what our provider offers as an online service, and the fees are reasonable moving forwards. Now, if we look at our portfolio, mainly based in financials, cyclicals, consumer defensive services. Okay, but our portfolio at the moment is primarily based in the UK. 56% of our portfolio is in the UK, 25% is in the US, and 19% is in Asia. Now, what we're going to do now, a quick run through of our shareholdings. So, at the moment, we own 9 shares, 6 in profit, 3 in loss. About £15,520 makes up 32% of our portfolio in shares, of which 28% of the portfolio is invested in the FTSE 100 and 3.5% is in the FTSE 250. If we look at our largest shareholdings, just a quick rundown of the shares we hold, the reason we hold them, profit and loss, and the percentage. So our largest shareholding is Lloyds Bank. We own 10,000 shares, where £4,989 makes up 10% of our portfolio. We are showing a loss of 19% since we purchased. Now, in the last month alone, it's down 6%, a loss of £320. But moving forwards, hopefully, good results at the end of July. Dividends will be increased. Sentiment will come back in the UK banking and a very good long-term hold. And hopefully, due to the size of the shareholdings, it will give us some good dividends in future. Our next biggest shareholding is Aviva. We own 680 shares, £2,760, 6% of our portfolio, a nice profit of 6%. Aviva's given a good dividend yield of about 5.5%, but it has been recently streamlined. The company has got some growth returns. Hopefully moving forwards will be a more concentrated company in the UK, but it can give substantial returns to shareholders, so a long-term buy. Our next shareholding is Barclays Bank. We own 1,172 shares, roughly £2,000, 4% of our portfolio, a very nice profit of 33% since we bought it. Dividends were stopped recently. Hopefully next month dividends will be resumed. Was paying 3% last year as an interim dividend. Hopefully will give us a nice dividend growth in future to reinvest. Again, banking sentiment is something I believe in moving forwards. Our next largest shareholding is Legal & General. We own 485 shares, £1,250, 3% of our portfolio, a nice profit of 25%. Again, just like Aviva, very good company, very good track record, got great potential in the UK, does pay a very good yield of about 6.5%. We may actually top up that fund moving forwards as next month. Our next shareholding is Sainsburys. We own 598 shares, £1,600, 3% of our portfolio, a nice little profit, 3% year to date. It will give us dividend next month around about £80. But as we've just found out during the month, Morrison's has been subject to a takeover. Asda was taken over a few months ago. Something may be interesting moving forwards with that sector. But everybody needs food. Everybody needs to eat and get petrol. A very good company with a very good track record. So hopefully will give us some growth moving forwards, and it does pay a good consistent dividend. Our next shareholding is somewhat close to home. It's our SIP provider, AJ Bell. We own 237 shares, £1,028. Slight profit, 2% at the moment, but it makes up 2% of our portfolio. Everybody's been investing last 6 to 12 months. It has got some great growth figures, makes a very good profit. It does pay a small dividend, but it's a long-term growth company, and the dividend has been increased, and it will pay us a small dividend at the start of July. But the numbers have been very good with the track record quarterly basis moving forward. So hopefully we'll have some great growth figures moving forwards if people keep investing through platforms. Our next shareholding is HSBC, 231 shares, £963, a slight loss about 6%, makes up 2% of our portfolio, but a very good long-term share. Whereas our other two banks, Lloyds and Barclays, are predominantly UK based, HSBC is more of a global player, but it's a much bigger company, much bigger growth prospects, but it was paying quarterly dividends. Hopefully they will be resumed in the not too distant future, and it will give us some regular dividends to invest moving forwards. Our next shareholding is Card Factory. We own 1,126 shares, £706, 1% of our portfolio nearly. Okay, a loss of 29%. Was severely affected by the high street and the COVID scenario. Is back opening. It is making a profit, and hopefully moving forwards, dividends will be restored, and the special dividend, because ultimately it is, or it was, a very cash-rich company. And then our final shareholding is NatWest. We own 252 shares. We transferred these in recently from a recent platform just to simplify our accounts. We own £512, 1% of our portfolio, a small profit of 3%, but again, it's being brought for the growth in the UK. Hopefully, dividends will be resumed, and hopefully, the UK will continue to reduce their exposure and their shareholding, and they can then do what they wish moving forwards. They're not controlled by the government in their actions. So that's a quick summary of our shareholdings. £15,500, 32% of our portfolio, and right mixture, but all of our shares are bought for long-term hold. So unless the market sentiments change, we intend to hold them shares between the next 3 and 5 years. And hopefully moving forwards, dividends be increased and it will reach our target of £500 and grow very rapidly moving forwards. So now an overview of the funds we hold within the portfolio. Okay, now all the 14 funds we hold are what we call actively managed funds. So it's funds I've chosen myself based upon research. I'm happy to pay the extra in fees. No great difference, but it's hopefully worthwhile for the performance of my fund moving forwards, and it will give me the growth rate of 10% as required. Okay, now for the first time in a while, we've actually got a fund in loss. So we've got 13 funds in profit, 1 in loss. Now our total fund holdings is worth £33,456, makes up 68% of our portfolio. Now I'm not going to run through all 14 funds, but I'll give you an overview of the top funds we hold over 5% of the portfolio in. So our largest share fund holding is Bally-Griffith Positive Change, £4,026, 8% of our portfolio, showing a very nice profit of 34% since we purchased. Owns a very small number of select companies, but good companies with excellent track record, and as they've proved in the 12 months since we've owned it, a very nice return moving forwards, and hopefully will continue moving forwards. Our next fund is a global equity fund, £4,012, 8%, similar amount, showing a nice profit of 33%. It was bought to give us greater exposure away from the UK, but again, it's a growth fund, so it will give me a lot more diversification. Very happy with the fund and its performance so far. Our third largest fund is the Legal and General Technology Index Fund, £3,947, 8% of our portfolio, showing a very nice profit of 58% so far. The techs and the fangs have done very well the last 12 months. Okay, the bubble may burst, but they've got great capital protection, they've got a great moat, they are not going anywhere, and they seem to be building momentum moving forwards. It just depends what happens in the US tax scenarios, but they have some great market shares in what they do, and everybody is investing. Sentiment may change in future, but 58% since we bought it is a very, very nice return indeed. Our fourth largest fund is a China fund, £3,900, just under 8%, a profit of 11%. China will obviously great growth moving forwards, a major world player, and hopefully will give us great returns and great growth moving forwards. And as we said, it was bought for diversification in our portfolio. Our next portfolio holding is US smaller companies, £3,100, 6% of our portfolio. Again, I think very good prospects in the US against small and mid-cap companies. A profit to date of 24%, and hopefully sentiment will go towards them companies because in the US a lot more people will invest in smaller companies, whereas in the UK a lot of people will invest in the big FTSE companies. So a long-term hold. And then on that basis, our next shareholding or fund is a UK smaller company. We own £2,700, 6% of our portfolio, a profit of 9%, being hampered by the COVID scenario and the pandemic, but hopefully moving forward when restrictions will ease, sentiment will return, some very good growth companies in the UK, but a long-term holding. Now, we do also own some emerging market funds. We own a European fund. We own a mid-cap fund. We own an AIM fund. We own a UK equity fund. And our smallest fund is a fund based in Russia. It was bought for diversification, £553, nearly 1% of our portfolio, but a profit of 10%. We may well keep that fund in the future. It just depends what happens with Russia. But at the moment, it was bought for diversification, but 10% so far since we bought it. No cause for complaints. So a quick summary of our funds. Say a collection of funds, hopefully, because we've got a lot of different sectors. We've got 14 different funds, and our largest fund makes up 8% of our portfolio. No cause for concern moving forwards. We will obviously have good funds and bad funds, so unless the conditions change or the sentiment change towards a specific area, again, just like our shareholdings, funds we are prepared to hold for the next 3 to 5 years moving forwards, unless severe market or sentiment changes, or maybe the management change of those funds. So that's an insight into our portfolio. As we said, a very good start for the year to date. It may not happen moving forwards, but hopefully we've got that buffer, we've got that window of opportunity. And as we've said, this video is not to boast or brag, it's to give people an insight into my investment journey moving forwards, the reasons why I hold shares, the reason why I pick these funds, and hopefully it will give us steady growth and returns month on month on month to reach our financial journey. Remember, if you like the videos, smash the like button and we'll see you again soon.